Is Genesis good enough to take on the German luxury manufacturers? I think yes. They have been building some very impressive vehicles recently, but the segment that this sits in is very competitive, and the German manufacturers have been busy updating and refreshing their options. For example, there's an all-new generation of the BMW X3, Audi and Mercedes have been busy too. So of course Genesis had to give this GV70 a refresh to keep it nice and competitive. What are the changes? Well, the front fascia has been redesigned, new grille with some really interesting textures, updated lighting signature to match other Genesis vehicles. On the inside of a huge new screen, other slight tweaks, but the core elements still remain. It's a very nicely styled, distinctive luxury crossover. The interior is properly nice. But does this 2026 GV70 Sport Prestige 3.5T have what it takes to challenge the German options? We're gonna find out. This is a top of the line model. It's been optioned about $72,000, and we're gonna spend some time living with it. So what's under the hood? Well, we have the upgrade engine, a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 making 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque, paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive with a limited slip differential. 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds, so plenty solid power and torque and acceleration. But compared to the X3 M50, it is a little bit outgunned. That thing is quite a bit quicker. So if all-out performance is your goal, the X3 does have an edge, but this thing still checks all the right boxes. This metallic red looks really nice here in the garage. Red over red. This red interior is also quite nice. See that red stitching on the steering wheel? Heated seat on and into drive. This weather sucks. It was literally 60 degrees like 3 days ago, and now it's raining / snowing again. Lovely Michigan. There was false spring, and now we have third winter. If you live somewhere like Michigan, you know winter can be miserable, and one of the worst parts is all of that ice, salt, and dirt that gets everywhere, including all over your floors. So today's video has been sponsored by LazFit. We've got some all-weather floor mats we're going to be installing on my mom's Ford Explorer, and I just checked. She doesn't even have the factory all-weather floor mats. It's just the carpets. So this is going to be a huge upgrade. Oh man, that is terrible. Not only am I going to be installing floor mats in my mom's car, but I need to take this thing for a proper detail. First one is in. So much better coverage and protection, including the dead pedal here on the left. It fits very nicely and such a big improvement. The mats here have Velcro, so they stay on the back of the third row seats, even if you fold them up. And they have this like little accordion section here that's designed to fold down in, so you get protection of your rear cargo area with the third row seats up or down. Honestly, I am properly impressed with these mats. They fit really well, and they're made of TPE, which stands for thermoplastic elastomer, which sounds really fancy, but essentially combines the benefits of plastic. It's really durable, it can be recycled, and also high precision injection molded for a good fit, with also rubber-like quality, so it's flexible, but it doesn't have that really strong smell that rubber products can have. These do not. So definitely check out LazFit for all-weather floor mats for your car. Use my discount code below for 20% off your order. Thanks again to LazFit for sponsoring this video. Now back to the vlog. Welcome sequence? Yes. The 2 lines of lighting into the logo right there. All right, honey, so where are we going today?
IKEA, or as you say,
IKEA. To IKEA in the GV70. Had a productive morning. We're installing some new mirrors in the bathroom, those like fancy LED illuminated ones. Very satisfied with how that turned out. And now back in the Genesis, I'll have to run some errands. What do you think about this car?
It's really nice.
The interior is really nice, isn't it?
Very luxurious interior. Yeah, the carbon fiber, the lighting, and this.
I love the red, the leather, and the quilting everywhere too. And it's really unique. Like you get like these ovals all over the design instead of like more angular stuff. You see that insert with the B&O speaker.
It's like very retro feeling.
Yeah, and then all the nice stitching, and at night the lighting's pretty cool too. Giant dual touchscreen, or not touchscreen there, infotainment screen, digital cluster. Fairly standard, straightforward now across the industry. All right, let's go into Sport. Well, there's a Sport Plus. Wow. Oh, my bolster's just kind of firmed up a little bit. It downshifted. Got some roundabouts. Ooh, look at that downshift. Man, Sport Plus, go. You're in the roundabout. You right away. Americans. Oh, that Honda Pilot does not understand how roundabouts work. All right, you better not cut in. No, 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 no. Driving is hard for some people. Downshift. So like, I'm in Sport Plus mode. I wonder if I could change the cluster. I don't have a tachometer. Oh, I guess there's a little number right there in the bottom left corner. You see the speedometer. All right, how's the body roll? Substantial. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So, Genesis, I mean, all these luxury sedans and crossovers have like a baseline level of performance sportiness, right? But outside of soon Magma, right? Genesis has not always been as performance oriented as BMW for sure. And then you look at Audi, they've got their SQ5, right? And obviously the RS models. Mercedes has their AMG and their lightweight AMGs, and BMW definitely, look at the X3M has always been a fun little pocket rocket crossover. I'm excited to see if Genesis decides to push more into performance realm with Magma, because this thing, it's definitely nice. It's plenty quick, but as you saw, like some of the handling dynamics aren't necessarily going to be the biggest strong suit. I mean, steering is fine. The seatbelt is freaking out. As soon as you load up some G's, is your seatbelt tightening too? Yeah, it's like, oh no, what's happening? I'm in Sport Plus mode. All right, back to, let's see what Sport is like. And this is the more potent powertrain. Let's go. It's flooring it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So you're saying this isn't as dynamic as the Porsche?
I feel like the body control is better in your Macan. Just, this definitely is more powerful, but I think the transmission and the suspension is maybe a little bit more sophisticated on the Macan, but I think this interior is even nicer. I really, really like Genesis with what they're doing in terms of design and the quality and just the overall feature set you get for the money. It's pretty good. All right, we're just gonna be commuting down to IKEA, to go look for some reasonably priced, very nicely designed Swedish furniture. Let's try out the driver assistance tech. So we'll turn it on. HDA is the acronym. I think it's like Highway Driving Assistant or Assist. Lots of information. Heads-up display shows my speed, the lane keeping, everything is green. I can decrease the following distance right there. And something else I really like about Hyundai, Kia, Genesis family vehicles is blind view monitor. So when you signal, it pulls up a live camera feed and also does a lane change for me. Cool. I actually was not expecting that second. I was trying to show the live camera feed. So you got a little blind view monitor there. So not only do you have the blind spot warning with like the sensor, the warning, it pops on the heads-up display. It'll vibrate if there's something in your blind spot. But also saw right there, it did a lane change assisted. But I don't think this is hands-free. There's a little thing watching you right now. But if I leave my hand off the wheel for too long, it will get angry at me. So you just kind of gently rest your hand on the wheel, which is still pretty nice. Something cool about being in Metro Detroit is you always see camouflage test vehicles from the OEMs around. This is the updated Chrysler Pacifica. They redesigned the front fascia, the headlight design, which is actually pretty crazy. It has been revealed, but a camouflage test vehicle in the IKEA parking lot. Finished doing some of our shopping. I'm gonna go pick up Angel. She's waiting for me at the loading area. Let's see how practical this thing is. Shouldn't be a problem. We're not buying anything crazy over the top in terms of furniture. Actually, the last time I was at IKEA, I had a Genesis G90 Black Edition, which has like the executive lounge rear seats, which also means you can't fold the rear seats down. And I bought something a lot larger than, it was one of those wardrobe things, and it was a Tetris game and a half trying to get it fit in the G90. The G90 is a very nice executive luxury sedan. Practical furniture hauler, less so. GV70 should check that box very nicely. Leave a bit of space to open the tailgate. I like slowly rolled by the front door, hoping you would notice that I was here. We got Angel a little makeup vanity table thing. This thing is surprisingly heavy. I thought IKEA was made of cardboard. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, it's manual. I've become spoiled with power seat recline. You just pull the lever.
I was concerned that I wouldn't get it.
Oh no, you can definitely fold down the second row. Plenty practical.
Perfect.
Whee! This car has four-wheel steering. Look at the design on these wheels. There's like the Genesis 2-line stripe also all over the outer rim, which is pretty cool. First off, I am a big fan of this color. It's an option called Mono Red, a very nice dark metallic red paint finish. In terms of the headlights, we still have the split headlight design with the 2 lines of lighting for your DRLs, and then inside, these little squares form the actual headlights. Something else that's really interesting and kind of strange is the hood. When I first saw it, I thought it was broken. I'm like, oh my gosh, has this car been in a crash? Why is the hood not aligning properly? But that seems to be on purpose. You see right there, the hood does not sit flush and level with the rest of the front bumper, the front fascia. There's like an overlap right here, but that seems to be on purpose. It's a really interesting look. I don't think I've ever seen this before, but at first I was like, why is it not lined up properly? I do like how the Genesis logo is like stamped into the hood, gives it some extra dimension, and this big front shield grille has been slightly tweaked with a really cool 3-dimensional look to it too. Slight tweaks of the front fascia. Now we have the dual exhaust tips here, some badging, the 2 lines of lighting, and I do wish they had put the wiper underneath the spoiler there for a little bit cleaner of a look back here. We have a button to push right there to open up the power tailgate like on the Porsche Macan. Overall, still a very, very nice looking premium luxury crossover. And look, the sun's starting to come out a little bit. You can see some of that metallic flake in the paint. Okay, that is pretty bad. If your tires look like this, I would not recommend driving on them. I would recommend replacing them. That looks like dry rot, and that's pretty bad on this GV70. Same thing on the driver's side front. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Let's check out some details on the inside of the refreshed GV70. So one of the biggest changes is the new screen, this 27-inch display with the infotainment here and your digital instrument cluster, and it's continuous. You can see the graphics flow across. The built-in infotainment system is very easy to use, really nice graphics. We have these tiles here. I can go change my climate settings or go to seat controls. Very easy to use, very nice graphics too, right? I can swipe back here, have a 3D setup option. Look at those graphics. That's definitely really, really nice. Also has CarPlay, obviously, so I was using CarPlay pretty much the whole time driving it this week. Below here, we also have some other changes. The touchscreen here for your climate stuff has moved lower. It used to be up here, and this used to be like a screen independent of the instrument cluster, so it's gone to this continuous display. But slight updates to this layout. You still have shortcuts for your heated steering or your heated cooled seats. You have actual physical knobs for your temperature, and then the center console has just been slightly tweaked. This is for changing your drive modes, or if you push it, it's for terrain mode, auto stop start, shortcut for your cameras, and then this can also control your infotainment screen, so it's a double input. Either use a touchscreen or the little spinny knob, and then this is for actual transmission selection. That's actually a little fingerprint scanner too. You can set up different profiles in your car if you're sharing it with somebody else in your family. We've got all this carbon fiber here. The wireless phone chargers moved there. And then, oh, this quilted red leather on the inside. And just the quality and details are so nice. I really like the ovals, right? So you get one right there, and if you look at that, that's one big oval that comes across to the left side of the steering wheel. Even the little memory seat buttons there, all these different ovals and the layers and the details, a little texture knurling on the little directional pad for changing your mirrors. The stitching here, the redesigned interior ambient lighting, kind of see it starting to show through as it's getting slightly darker, that glow. It's pretty cool at night. And then if we're sitting in the back seat and you want more space, you can actually control passenger side seat with these buttons here, which is really interesting on a vehicle in this segment. Usually you see something like this in like the executive luxury sedans or the big luxury SUVs because you want your VIP passenger in the back to have maximum legroom and be able to control it, right? But they have it here on the GV70 and some other Genesis vehicles. Suede headliner, the big panoramic roof. Like, it really does check all the boxes you would want in terms of a luxury interior. And look, the steering wheel has so many physical buttons that are actually intuitive, easy to use. Now, these are little touch swipey controls, so if you swipe up and down here, you'll be able to control the widgets. So you see the right one there, it's been highlighted. I can swipe through various different fuel economy things. But if I go left, there's my tire pressures. Swipe up and down, drive power distribution, temperatures. What else do we have? Weather, widgets, media, turn by turn if I had my route guidance going. Yeah, so it's pretty cool and just super intuitive, easy to use. How is the space? Now, this is a mid-size luxury crossover. All right, so legroom. Okay, you've got these little cutouts, and I need them, otherwise my knees would be in the seat. So not as ideal back here. We do have heated outboard seats and some climate control back here, and USB-C ports along with a outlet you can plug in a laptop or something. Headroom back here is actually pretty good, and these seats will recline slightly. It's just legroom that's not as ideal, but I'm on the taller side, so if you're a little more vertically challenged or you've got children in the back seat, totally fine. But if you do need more space, just go up a segment to the GV80. Now I wonder when they're gonna launch a GV90, right? Because for the sedans, there was the G70, the G80, the G90. The G90 is the big flagship one. So they should do a GV90 to take on the Mercedes GLS, the BMW X7, just the big ones. And man, imagine the Genesis treatment on a big flagship luxury sedan. I thought I saw rumors they may do it as an EV based off the Ioniq 9 and the Kia EV9 platform, so the Genesis version of it. But I hope they do like a gas-powered one, so it more directly competes with the GLS, just essentially the SUV version of the G90. Just scale up the G90 with those executive second row seats and all the nice features, the power closing doors. I would love to see one of those from this brand. But man, this red interior is really, really cool. With the quilting back here too. Super nice. So imagine you're trying to park this in a parking spot and you're so close to the wall there's not enough space to open the driver's door to get out. So I'm going to simulate it right here. So what you can do is go ahead and I'm remote start this thing, and then there's a button to park forward and a button to park backwards. So I'll press and hold this and the car should back up on its own. There we go. Yep, it's okay. Why am I giving this car encouragement? Look at that. So the use case is if you need to park really close to a wall, a really small, tight garage, parking spot, whatever, you can back the car in and you can also pull it out. So I'll do the reverse here. Let's just say I come back to the car, need to get out. I don't have space to open the door right there. So you pull the car forward. It's not gonna hit the wall. Out of the way. There we go. And I'm sure we've all been in situations where you're in a parking garage or looking for a parking spot and you find one, you're like, oh, that looks too tight. If I park in there, I won't be able to get out of the car. Well, that's the whole point of this. You just line it up, get out, and use the key fob to remotely park it in and then pull it out again. It's pretty cool. All right, let's go for a drive and wrap up final thoughts on what it's been like to live with this 2026 GV70. And it's snowing again too. Mother Nature can't decide what it wants to do right now. It went from sunny and 60 degrees to now it's snowing again. It just keeps going in between spring and winter and back to spring and then back to winter. But anyways, the GV70, I still really like this. It's a really nice luxury crossover. It checks all the boxes and it doesn't lean too heavily into one specific focus. It's not trying to be too sporty. It's not trying to be too floaty. It's a really good balance of all the things. Here as a sport prestige model with the upgraded engine, you do have plenty of torque, power, performance. It's quick enough, right? Again, an X3 M50 will be even faster, but from a styling department, I think this is much more handsome looking, right? It's a prettier design from every single angle. The X3 can be a little bit more polarizing or controversial, whereas I think most people would agree that the GV70 and Genesis products in general just look really nice to the eye, and the interior is still a highlight. The materials are so nice. The quilted Napa leather, the build quality feels very nice. Everything covered in leather and feels high quality. Some of these other newer generation luxury vehicles across various different segments are honestly starting to feel a little more plasticky. You start pressing on things on the door and the center dash and you get some creaks and it doesn't feel as premium, and you got too many swipey touch controls and fingerprint magnets. This one here is still very nice. I mean, like, everything is trimmed in nice leather and stitching. One of the big upgrades you're gonna notice is the big screen across the middle, right? Now, in terms of dynamics, this one's, as you saw, not on the best of tires, not in the greatest condition, but nope, not eco, wrong way. I'm gonna go to Sport Plus. The bolsters actually like snug in. They hug you when you go into Sport Plus, and like the tachometer or the speedometer right there, the needle looks like it's like glowing on fire. Those subtle little touches are nice. Now it gets a little bit more sporty feeling. It holds the revs, and it's definitely sufficiently quick. A nice balance. That's just what it makes me feel. It's not overtly aggressive in any way. Now it leaves room for Genesis to do a Magma line. They're trying to push Magma. There's GV60 Magma, and they previewed that supercar, the mid-engine supercar. There's that G90 wingback, which might have a V8. So a sporty GV70 could be really, really cool. Gas powered. Give us a even more potent V6. I doubt maybe they'll do a V8. Who knows, right? But Mercedes has shown that people are interested in something like that. Look at the GLC 63, and now they've got the lower tier AMG versions. Audi with the SQ5, no RSQ5. That would be cool. Porsche, obviously, with the Macan, they get even more sportier. There's a market for things like that, so they could do something like that. But again, as a daily driver, luxurious SUV, this thing is just really well balanced. A couple other things to note. There is the new highway road assist thing for body control, where uses the camera and preloads like the dampers to prepare for bumps and things like that. It was comfortable. I didn't notice anything particularly intrusive or hugely noticeable in terms of comfort, but I'm not going back to back with a pre-refresh car in a current updated generation like this one here. But it was comfortable driving around. It checks all the boxes. Whenever I drive a Genesis vehicle, I'm always really impressed. The styling and the interior are definitely highlights for me, but it just does everything so well. It's a really appealing option. Now, the updates and changes aren't massive, and it's not like it's an insane bargain. It's not like $10,000 cheaper than other comparable options, but I think they've earned their place in the luxury segment. They've got really good warranty, really good feature set that you get with the vehicles. They're just well optioned. This thing, I think, only has the paint as an option. Everything else is just fully loaded. Again, top tier trim, and you can get the smaller engine if you want to save some money, right? There's available versions of the GV70 that are in the $50,000 to $60,000 range versus the over $70,000 as this one is optioned. But top of the line, sampling this one, it is properly impressive. I mean, I would consider getting one of these to replace my wife Angel's Macan, right? She's got a regular Porsche Macan, and this thing has all the features and then some. Now, the Macan transmission's a little bit sharper, handling maybe a little bit better, but there are other things that the GV70 does better as a luxury daily driver. And honestly, for my wife, I don't know if she'll notice PDK versus this transmission, right? For her to be like, ooh, heated steering wheel is one of her favorite features. Things I would like to see, more advanced driver assistance technology, right? Full hands-free, like GM Super Cruise, for example, to really be competitive. I think in the luxury space, manufacturers need to start adding more of that. The massage features are more on the basic size, but I'm getting really nitpicky for a vehicle in the segment, right? I can't compare this to the G90, the flagship luxury sedan, because that thing, oh man, guys, I love the G90. But the updated GV70, slight refreshes and tweaks just to keep it competitive with some of the other options. What would you guys go with? Would you pick one of these? Are you going for the BMW X3, a Mercedes GLC, an Audi Q5? From a styling standpoint, I think this is the best looking in the entire segment. It doesn't have any bad angles, right? Whereas some of the other ones, some of the angles are in the lighting design and other details. I'm not sure I'm the hugest fan of. Slight changes to the GV70, but it still remains a very, very nice, compelling option. Like, oh, the suede headliner. So nice. Definitely nice. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick little vlog, and I'm hoping weather takes a turn for the nicer, because these gray, cold, gloomy days are getting tiring. And it's also been insanely windy, like 70-mile-an-hour gusts. A bunch of people, my parents lost power the other day. Yeah, Michigan weather is being very, very finicky right now, but hope you guys enjoyed this vlog in the GV70. Thanks for watching.